Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our American Horror Stories episode 4 review. We are going to the bro house.
No. I am not chanting that.
No, this is Ready Made Coco Vanderwolf. Just want to leave.
She's gone.
Not a fan of the bro house. But okay, listen, I loved this episode. I had a very simple expectation. I just wanted to see Danny Trejo as Santa own some fools, and I got everything I wanted, guys.
I know I don't look like it because I'm a 46-year-old lady, but I'm really into YouTube drama, and this episode really hit everything. Whoever did the research for this episode did a 10 out of 10 job on this. They really hit everybody, even in the credits. It was so good and so well done. My favorite episode so far.
No disagreement here. Like, this is my favorite episode, and honestly, it's really not even close. But okay, well, before we talk all about this episode entitled The Naughty List, hit that subscribe button. We are here talking about all things American Horror Stories all season long.
We're nowhere near the 5 million mark like the Bro House, but thank you for hitting that subscribe button and helping our channel grow.
I don't even know where to start with just like the love of this episode, but I just even love the concept of it.
Yeah, as I said, whoever did the research on this to put in, they hit a lot of YouTubers. Even right at the beginning, we had the confessionals, and Barry was sitting there in this black shirt that had 2 tigers on it. And anyone out there who's a Jenna Marbles fan, like I am a huge Jenna Marbles fan, they will know this shirt because there was a video that she did with her boyfriend Julian called My Boyfriend Buys My Clothes for Me. And in that video, he bought her that shirt as a joke, and it ended up turning into a shirt that she really liked and ended up wearing a lot. So I was like, that's really cool. They mentioned Tana Mojo, who everybody knows as well. And then even right at the beginning in the credits, it was fast, but it was a reference to James Charles, because during the whole start of the pandemic, James Charles and Charlie D'Amelio both got really dragged for getting together and wearing these Santa outfits, and they were all walking down this staircase, and they got dragged for it, and they had it in the credits. It was fast, but it was there. Of course, we all know what happened with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what happened with Logan Paul. Everybody knows what happened with Logan Paul. Even my mom, who doesn't even know really how to send an email, knows what happened with Logan Paul and that video. So for them to basically make this whole episode taking that to the next level of what happened with Logan Paul, I think that you're probably having a pretty bad day today after this episode. I'm very curious to know what Logan Paul's reaction is.
I'm kind of like a casual YouTube person. It's like I had heard of a lot of the people.
I keep you up on the drama.
Yeah. She keeps me in the loop. I'm not as familiar with some of it, but even somebody like me, I could catch at least some of what they did. I've seen that Jenna Marbles video, but I'll admit I didn't even catch that at first with Barry. But I will.
That shirt is just so ridiculous. And I saw that shirt, I was like, oh man.
I do love how much research they seem to have put in it. I do. There's only one sort of small bee I have in my bonnet with just the concept of this and the Logan Paulness of it all, because they mentioned Logan in this episode.
They did.
And I just wonder, because we have these bro house bros there. I think their names are Zen, Barry, James, and Wyatt. And it's sort of like, okay, well, you guys know then that Logan got dragged to the ends of the earth for his video. Why would you think that you guys doing it is gonna actually work for you? I know you're supposed to be idiots, but still.
Yeah, and my guess is that because Logan got dragged and he went on an apology tour, and he actually, his first apology video wasn't that great. He seemed like, I don't know, he just didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
But all the steps that Logan took, I'm not here apologizing, on an apology tour here for Logan either.
Yeah.
But all the steps he took after that ended up being the thing that saved his career. And then he completely pivoted over to doing his podcast and sort of changing everything about what he's doing to be sort of this more mature Logan Paul, if we can call it that.
These guys did not do that. Like, I think we can say that officially. And that's what was so fascinating. Apparently, these dudes were supposed to be just like so vapid. And I mean, I guess other than Barry, who kind of had some awareness, where
Yeah.
they just decided they were going to double down on all of their idiocy.
Yeah, and I mean, anyone who does watch a lot of these types of videos, the bro house is sort of modeled after like the Cloud House, the Hype House, the Team 10 house,
Yeah.
all these houses that are filled with influencers that are trying to sort of one up each other to get those views, to get those subscribers. And they even mentioned that they're almost 30. And I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm 46. So it is really, if they're sort of the mom and pop of YouTube,
Yeah.
unlike the grandma or great grandma of YouTube, they're not wrong. A younger audience is going to watch younger YouTubers.
I think this is really fun that we were able to have like a deep discussion about an episode that was just so like superficially silly. But I think there's something there about what you said, and also just this idea of when they go to the mall and Barry sort of laid out, okay, we're gonna just go back to being silly and being funny. It's sort of like these dudes, whether it is because of, like you said, their age, how long they've been doing this, how they've sort of pivoted. It's like controversial and like offensive and angry. It's like that's the only gear they seem to know anymore, and they don't even know how to be like this older, I guess younger, more innocent version of themselves.
Yeah, it was an interesting look at that because they were pushing. They really wanted to get to that 5 million.
Yeah.
And so they decide to film this guy jumping off a bridge, and then they go and they film the after effects of that.
Yeah.
And of course, it goes over really badly because it's terrible and horrific.
Yeah.
Logan Paul can attest to this.
Yes.
And then, yeah, they go to the mall, sort of. Barry's like, hey, okay, listen, let's get back to our roots, where it was just a bunch of guys having some fun, playing some more innocent type pranks. Like, let's fill my swimming pool with 1 million ping pong balls. Like something that's not going to hurt other people. But they are so far gone now, and their content had changed so much that they just didn't know any other gear except being offensive and being cruel to people. That's what they think is funny.
They're just so out of touch, and it's like out of all the people, of course, that they could have been just awful human beings to, they just so happened to choose the one Santa who is actually a psychopath, played by Danny Trejo. And listen, I like that we had like zero context and like zero sort of explanation as to why Danny Trejo is like this. He's just Danny Trejo as an evil Santa who kills people, and that's all you need to know.
It's kind of interesting because in the last episode, the drive-in, the thing that I had the biggest problem with was how much buildup there was to it and not enough sort of killing at the drive-in.
Yeah.
And, being stuck in that situation. With this episode, there was even more buildup. We didn't even really get to Danny Trejo until kind of like the last 17 or 16 minutes of the episode. There was a massive amount of buildup. But in this case, it worked.
Yeah.
I wish that I had had, of course, more Danny Trejo as Santa killing everybody. But they needed that buildup of just what idiots these guys are and how much damage that they caused, and that they actually don't know how to stop. That even after they did what they did, everything still was bad. It wasn't as bad as what they did, but they just can't stop. It was just going to continue on and on and on.
I think because their world was so weird and so fascinating. I think it was just so much easier to get on board all this build up versus what we had in the drive-in. And I think because Danny Trejo's, I can't call this guy Santa. He's Danny Trejo, but because Danny Trejo's character was just so simplistically laid out, and we kind of knew what was going to happen, it was just like, okay, we don't need to waste our time on any monologuing. We don't need to waste our time. We just get to Danny Trejo. How is Danny Trejo going to kill these people?
I will never hear Holly Jolly Christmas ever the same way, which is so sad because that is Matt's favorite Christmas song. As soon as I heard that playing, I was like, oh no.
This was a Holly Jolly episode in a very weird, macabre way. I enjoyed everything about the final 15 minutes. I loved how certain of these bros were killed off. I don't even care about the leaps in logic. That's like, how does Danny Trejo's character have the technological ability to hack into the bro house YouTube account?
No, I don't even care. And I loved that they sort of ended it with Barry and them hitting that 5 million and him still, he knows he's about to be lit on fire. He's got an arrow in his leg and he's still like, we did it, guys. And it's always about that sub count. Yeah. And it's crazy because a lot of these houses and content creators, it is about the subs. It is about the views. And a lot of creators get really obsessed with that.
I love that it was even him who was acting like that, because he was established as the normal one of the group. Could you imagine if one of these other idiots was still alive? They would have probably been dancing literally to their death in celebration.
It was so well done. And the only thing that I actually really worry about with this episode is that people who aren't like me, who really know this culture very well, are going to see this episode and just not really like it because it's not a lot of horror. It doesn't have that feel of the original American Horror Story, which is complaints that I've heard about this show. I'm okay with it because it's a spin-off of that show. It's not supposed to be exactly like American Horror Story.
I'm sorry for those of you who don't get it, but honestly, this is going to sound mean. I really don't care because I feel like
Shady Matt is out.
They made this episode for a very specific group of audience, and I'm fine with that.
I am that audience.
Yes, they made it for you. They halfway made it for me because I'm at least aware of this stuff, and I even really love the moment where they try to call the police, and then the police are just we'll send a car an hour later than this because they've been duped so many times.
And the same with their audience. They had built no trust with their audience because their whole channel is about these extreme things or pranking that even when Barry is typing in, please help me, someone's trying to kill me, the audience is like, ha ha, oh, Barry.
I'm not that familiar with a lot of the actors in this episode, but I love seeing Kevin McHale back. I haven't seen him that much since Glee, where he was. I can't even remember his character's name on Glee all that well anymore. This is how long it's been, but
and one of the bros, maybe it was. I can't remember which one it was. One of the bros was actually on Riverdale as well.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think he played Reggie.
Yeah, I think his name is Charles Melton or something like that.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, that. They got some good actors. They had some really interesting sort of just visuals. I did not expect the end with the tree at all. I'm just saying that.
Silent Night also ruined.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
No, overall, I really like this episode a lot. This was fun. I would watch this episode again.
I think it was great. I just, there's so much fun stuff in here. I hope you guys loved it as much as we did. If not, let us show you the way in the comments. Just tell us what your issues with it were. We'll all talk about it.
And hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 5 million.
Yeah, we promise if we get to 5 million, we won't celebrate with there's an arrow. Barry was the guard from Skyrim who took the arrow in the knee.
Yes, he did.
I can make that joke 14 minutes in because it is literally a joke for us and no one else.
Yes, all the Skyrim fans out there.
Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you here next time.